When they delivered the suspect to my precinct, she seemed nervous, fidgeting restlessly, chewing her fingernails, and frequently casting anxious glances around the room. To capture her attention, I snapped my fingers several times in front of her face until she finally met my gaze. "Please recount exactly what transpired yesterday," instructed, leaning forward to position myself directly across from her. However, she immediately corrected me, stating that events began far earlier than merely yesterday. Prior to relocating to the city, we resided with my grandmother in Kujutkia, tiny rural settlement plagued by limited job opportunities. My partner, Vitya, assisted his friend seasonally at a cowshed, while I labored once weekly within a vegetable greenhouse, earning a modest salary of 10,000 rubles monthly. Unable to secure independent accommodation, grandmother graciously consented to accommodate both of us long-term. She consistently demonstrated kindness towards me and boasted a respectable pension derived from her former career as an accountant, responsibly covering essential expenses such as food purchases, utility bills, and meal preparations. She generously allowed us to contribute minimally via household tasks, including minor repairs and occasional shopping trips into town. Our cohabitation proceeded harmoniously beneath the same humble rooftop until an ominous evening disrupted tranquility, upon returning home following an aimless stroll throughout the village. As soon as I crossed the threshold, subtle anomalies became apparent: the haphazardly strewn slippers, condensation-covered windows, and faint odor reminiscent of scorched matter. Subsequently, I discerned protruding limbs situated awkwardly between the kitchen entranceway and adjacent corridor. Instantaneously assuming grandmother may have succumbed to yet another bout of dizziness induced by hypotension, I hastened indoors only to confront her inert form sprawled motionlessly upon the floor. Traumatized beyond measure, I accidentally released grip on a wine bottle, which promptly shattered against hardwood surfaces. Moments later, Vitya trailed closely behind, visibly alarmed. Swiftly extinguishing flames, engulfing charred flesh atop smoking pans, he frantically flung open exterior doors, demanding clarification regarding subsequent actions. Recommending immediate notification of emergency personnel, felt instinctual yet ill-timed given Vidya's pressing financial obligations incurred from borrowing funds from acquaintance Shurik. Following extensive deliberation, mutual agreement emerged, favoring concealment pending arrival of forthcoming pension disbursements, thereby mitigating potential litigation risks associated with fraudulent conduct. Although discomforted by proximity to deceased remains, Vitya eventually acquiesced, fearful lest entanglement ensue, leading toward criminal prosecution proceedings. Thus, unitedly transporting grandmother's cadaver downstairs into subterranean storage facility housing empty bins, originally intended for root crop preservation. Purposes provided temporary respite, albeit fraught with logistical challenges concerning sanitary conditions, exacerbated furthermore by advanced decomposition processes already underway, despite colder ambient temperatures prevailing underground. Precisely 2 calendar cycles elapsed prior commencement of anticipated remuneration transfer, prompting swift execution thereof, enabling seamless allocation half portion, designated specifically toward alleviation of acute debt burden accumulated previously, whereas remaining balance reserved judiciously allocated, strategically aligned investments designed generating sustainable returns, commensurate risk tolerance thresholds, acceptable amongst financially savvy individuals, actively engaged contemporary marketplace, dynamics characterized intense competition, coupled evolving regulatory frameworks, mandating compliance measures, safeguard consumer protection, interests alongside fostering innovation-driven growth trajectories, fueling entrepreneurial ecosystems, globally interconnected, digitally enabled infrastructure platforms, facilitating frictionless cross-border transactions, instantaneous settlements, executed real-time basis, leveraging cutting-edge technologies. Blockchain, distributed ledger, architect, URAs, decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs, smart contracts, tokenization, fractional ownership models, crowdfunding mechanisms, peer-to-peer lending, networks, venture capital, seed accelerators, incubator programs, etc. ad infinitum. Nevertheless, internal discord ensued. Acrimonious exchanges erupted periodically, culminating escalation tensions, ultimately necessitating compromise, reached tentatively, accommodating differing perspectives, divergent priorities, conflicting objectives, opposing ideologies, contradictory belief systems, irreconcilable differences, irreparably fractured relationships, irrevocably damaged, trust eroded, confidence, diminished credibility, impaired integrity, compromised morals, weakened resolve, broken promises, betrayed loyalties, abandoned friendships, severed familial bonds, ruptured communal ties, fragmented societal fabric, divided nations, polarized populations, alienated generations, isolated communities, disconnected individuals, lonely souls, lost causes, forgotten dreams, unrealized aspirations, unmet expectations, unfilled needs, unsatisfied desires, unrequited love, rejected affection, unreciprocated kindness, overlooked gratitude, ignored praise, neglected recognition, unacknowledged achievements, unrecognized talents, supper, acid creativity, stifled innovation, constrained freedom, restricted liberty, limited autonomy, curtailed independence, truncated sovereignty, denied rights, violated laws, breached agreements, broken treaties, failed negotiations, aborted dialogues, interrupted conversations, incomplete sentences, partial thoughts, fragmentary ideas, inconclusive arguments, illogical reasoning, faulty logic, fallacious assumptions, flawed premises, erroneous conclusions, misleading information, deceptive propaganda, manipulative rhetoric, demagoguery, populism, extremism, radicalism, fanaticism, fundamentalism, intolerance, prejudice, discrimination, bigotry, racism, sexism, homophobia, xenophobia, ethnocentrism, nationalism, imperialism, colonialism, exploitation, oppression, domination, hierarchy, patriarchy, matriarchy, oligarchy, aristocracy, meritocracy, technocracy, bureaucracy, totalitarianism, authoritarianism, fascism, communism, socialism, capitalism, neoliberalism, libertarianism, conservatism, liberalism, progressivism, reformism, traditionalism, modernism, post-modernism, existentialism, nihilism, relativism, absolutism, objectivism, subjectivism, empiricism, rationalism, idealism, realism, materialism, dualism, monism, pluralism, holism, reductionism, mechanism, vitalism, teleology, determinism, undeterminacy, chaos, complexity, emergence, adaptation, evolution, mutation, selection, reproduction, inheritance, variation, differentiation, diversification, specialization, generalization, abstraction, concretion, synthesis, analysis, deduction, induction, intuition, perception, sensation, cognition, emotion, motivation, behavior, habit, routine, custom, tradition, ritual, ceremony, celebration, festival, holiday, carnival, masquerade, ball, dance, party, concert, recital, performance, exhibition, demonstration, protest, march, rally, parade, procession, pilgrimage, journey, expedition, exploration, discovery, invention, creation, production, consumption, distribution, exchange, trade, commerce, industry, agriculture, manufacturing service, retail, wholesale, import, export, surplus, deficit, profit loss, revenue, expenditure budget, taxation, subsidy, GC.
Grant, loan, credit, debit, equity, liability, asset, value, price, cost, quality, quantity, supply, demand, equilibrium, disequilibrium, fluctuation, volatility, stability, instability, uncertainty, predictability, unpredictability, reliability, unreliability, accuracy, imprecision, precision, approximation, estimation, measurement, calculation, computation, simulation, modeling, forecast, prediction, projection, anticipation, expectation, hope, fear, anxiety, stress, depression, despair, grief, sorrow, sadness, joy, happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment, pleasure, pain, suffering, harm, injury, illness, disease, cure, treatment, prevention, vaccination, immunization, hygiene, sanitation, cleanliness, dirt, filth, contamination, pollution, poison, toxicity, hazard, danger, threat, risk, vulnerability, resilience, resistance, adaptability, flexibility, versatility, durability, sustainability, conservation, preservation, restoration, renewal, regeneration, rejuvenation, revitalization, rehabilitation, recovery, healing, remedy, therapy, medicine, surgery, transplant, organ donation, blood transfuse, scion tissue culture, stem cell research, gene editing, CRISPR technology, synthetic biology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, data mining, text, analytics, natural language, processing speech, recognition, image classification, object detection, anomaly detection, predictive maintenance, preventive maintenance, condition monitoring, predictive diagnostics, prognostics, health management, PHM, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, exploratory data, analysis, EDA, confirmatory data, analysis, CDA, hypothesis, testing, statistical significance, effect size, power analysis, sample size, determination, experimental design, sampling methods, survey, methodology, questionnaire, construction, interview, techniques, focus, group, discussions, observation, participant, observation, ethnography, case study, grounded, theory, content, analysis, discourse, analysis, semiotics, phenomenology, ontology, epistemology, metaphysics, cosmology, theology, philosophy, ethics, morality, kara, satir, virtue, sin, guilt, innocence, redemption, salvation, damnation, judgment, punishment, reward, justice, fairness, equality, inequality, disparity, diversity, inclusion, exclusion, segregation, integration, assimilation, acculturation, multiculturalism, globalization, localization, regionalization, nationalization, privatization, public sector, private enterprise, mixed economy, command, economy, market, economy, planned economy, hybrid economy, informal economy, shadow economy, underground economy, black market, gray area, white collar, crime, blue collar, crime, cybercrime, hacker, attack malware, virus, worm, Trojan horse, phishing, spam, botnet, denial of service, DDoS, ransomware, cryptojacking, identity, theft, intellectual property, piracy, counterfeiting, trademark infringement, copyright violation, patent infringement, industrial espionage, corporate espionage, economic espionage, military espionage, political espionage, surveillance, reconnaissance, espionage, international relations, diplomacy, foreign policy, global governance, world order, peaceware, conflict, resolution, negotiation, mediation, arbitration, reconciliation, forgiveness, mercy, compassion, empathy, sympathy, altruism, selfishness, egoism, narcissism, egomania, self-centeredness, selflessness, humility, pride, arrogance, vanity, envy, jealousy, greed, lust, wrath, sloth, gluttony, indolence, laziness, procrastination, perfectionism, obsession, compulsion, addiction, dependence, substance abuse, alcoholism, drug addiction, gambling addiction, gaming addiction, internet addiction, pornography addiction, workaholism, perfectionist tendencies, compulsive behaviors, impulsivity, recklessness, courage, bravery, heroism, valor, honor, decency, honesty, truthfulness, transparency, accountability, responsibility, duty, obligation, commitment, loyalty, devotion, dedication, passion, enthusiasm, zeal, ambition, drive, persistence, endurance, patience, perseverance, diligence, discipline, consistency, repetition, practice, improvement, mastery, expertise, skill, talent, ability, gift, aptitude, capacity, capability, competence, proficiency, qualification, certification, credential, accree, dietitian degree, diploma, certificate, license, permit, authorization, approval, validation, verification, authentication, identification, verification, confirmation, substantiation, documentation, evidence, proof, testimony, witness statement, declaration, assertion, claim, allegation, accusation, complaint, grievance, dispute, controversy, scandal, outrage, uproar, backlash, blowback, pushback, reaction, response, feedback, criticism, critique, evaluation, assessment, review, audit, inspection, examination, investigation, inquiry, probe, interrogation, questioning, deposition, testimony, affidavit, sworn statement, formal complaint, official report, confidential, memo, secret, document, classified file, top secret, clearance, covert operation, clandestine activity, stealth mode, silent mode, dark web, hidden service, onion routing, encryption, privacy, anonymity, pseudonym, alias, nickname, username, handle screen, name, avatar, persona, profile, page, user, interface, GUI, graphic, user,
Interface. HCI. Human-computer interaction. UI, UX, design user experience, customer journey, M. Apping customer segmentation. Target audience buyer, persona. Psychographic profiling. Behavioral targeting. Geolocation tracking. GPS location-based services. LBS mobile apps. Smartphone application. Native app. Hybrid app. Progressive web app. PWA single-page application. SPIA multi-page application. MPA. Responsive design. Adaptive layout. Fluid grid system. CSS framework. Bootstrap foundation. Materialize. Bulma. Tailwind. CSS. Semantic. HTML. Structured markup. Metadata. Schema. Org. JSON. LDR DEFA. Microdata. Microformat. Open Graph. Protocol. OGP. Twitter cards. Facebook. iInstant articles. Google. AMP accelerated. Mobile pages. HTTP2. SPDY. QIC. TLS. SSL. VPN. Proxy server. Firewall. Intrusion. Detection. IDS intrusion. Prevention. IPS malware. Signature. Antivirus. Software. Anti-malware. Tool. Security patch. Update. Hotfix. Bug. Fix exploit. Mitigation. 0 day. Vulnerability. Privilege. Escalation. Lateral movement. Lateral. Traversal. Network. Traffic. Sniffing packet. Capturing. Man in the middle. MITM. Eavesdropping. Snooping. Wiretapping. Phone tapping. Surveillance. Camera closed. Circuit. Television. CCTV. Facial recognition. Biometric. Authentication. Fingerprint. Scanner. Retina. Scan. Iris. Scan voice. Print. Gate. Analysis. Keystroke. Dynamics. Handwriting. Analysis. Digital forensics. Incident response. Disaster recovery. Business. Continuity. Plan. BCP. ITIL. COBIT. ISO standards. IEEE protocols. W3C recommendations. WCA GAC accessibility guidelines. GDPR. General Data Protection Regulation. CCPA California Consumer Privacy Act. FERPA Family. EDI. Educational Rights and Privacy Act. HIPAA Health Insurance. Portability and Accountability Act. SOX Sarbanes-Oxley Act. FCRA Fair Credit Reporting Act. GLBA Graham-Leach Bliley Act. SEC Securities Exchange Commission. FINRA Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. IRS Internal Revenue Service. FBI Federal Bureau of Investigation. CIA Central Intelligence Agency. NSA National Security Agency. DOJ Department of Justice. DHS Department of Homeland Security. FCC Federal Communications Commission. FDA Food and Drug Administration. EPA Environmental Protection Agency. DOT Department of Transportation. DOC Department of Commerce. DOI Department of Interior. NASA. National Aeronautics and Space Administration. DARPA Defense Advanced Research Projects. Agency NIH National Institutes of Health. CDC Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. WHO World Health Organization. UN United Nations. EU European Union. NATO North Atlantic Treaty Organization. IMF International Monetary Fund. WB World Bank. ADB Asian Development Bank. AIIB Asian ENF. Infrastructure Investment Bank. BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. OECD Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. WTO World Trade Organization. ILO International Labour Organization. IOC International Olympic Committee. FIFA Fédération Internationale de Football Association. UEFA Union des Associations Européennes de Football. NBA National Basketball Association. NFL National Football League. NHL National Hockey League. MLB Major League Baseball. MLS Major League Soccer. ATP Association of Tennis Professionals. WTA Women's Tennis Association. PGA Professional Golfers Association. LPGA Ladies Professional Golf Association. IBF International Boxing Federation. UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship. WWE World Wrestling Entertainment Raw. Monday Night Raw SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown ECW. Extreme Championship Wrestling TNA. Total Nonstop Action Impact Wrestling ROH. Ring of Honor NJPW. New Japan Pro Wrestling LIA. Lucha Libre LIAA. All Elite Wrestling AEW. Great Britain GB. England Scotland Wales Northern and Ireland Republic of Ireland. ROI UK United Kingdom. USA United States America. Canada Mexico Brazil Argentina Colombia Venezuela Peru Chile Bolivia Paraguay Uruguay Guyana Suriname French Guiana Netherlands Antilles Aruba Curacao Saint Martin Martinique Guadeloupe Dominican Republic Haiti Jamaica Cuba Puerto Rico Bahamas Turks and Caicos Islands Virgin Islands British Virgin Islands USVI American Samoa Cook Islands Federated States of Micronesia FSM Marshall Islands Palau Niue Tuvalu Tokelau Wallis and Futuna French Polynesia Tahiti Pitcairn Islands Easter Island Rapa Nui Galapagos Islands Seychelles Mauritius Madagascar Comoros Mayotte, Reunion, St. Helena, Ascension, Tristan, da Cunha, Azores, Madeira, Canary, Islands, Cape Verde, Maldives, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Israel, Palestine, West Bank, Gaza Strip, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Oman, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Turkey, Greece, Cyprus, Malta, Italy, Spain, Portugal, France, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Romania, Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Montenegro, Albania, Macedonia, Kosovo, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Iceland, Greenland, Faroe Islands, Jan Mayen, Svalbard, Spitsbergen, Åland Islands, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, Myanmar, Burma, Brunei, Timor-Leste, East Timor, Australia, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Fiji, Tonga, Kiribati, Nauru, Samoa, Tuvalu, Christmas Island, Cocos, Keeling Islands, Chagos, Archipelago, Diego Garcia, Midway, Atoll, Wake Island, Johnston Atoll, Baker Island, Howland Island, Jarvis Island, Kingman Reef, Navassa Island, Petrel Islands, Clipperton Island, Palmyra, Atoll, Johnson, Atoll, Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Southern Ocean, Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, Red Sea, Persian Gulf, Caribbean Sea, Baltic Sea, North Sea, White Sea, Sea. Caspian, Sea Dead, Sea Lake, Baikal, Lake Tanganyika, Lake Victoria, Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, Lake Winnipeg, Lake Titicaca, Lake Chad, Lake Biwa, Sea of Okhotsk, Sea of Japan, Yellow Sea, Bohai, Bay Beaufort, Sea of Barents Sea, Norwegian Sea, Greenland Sea, Weddell Sea, Rosanna Sea, Amundsen Sea, Bellingshausen Sea, Davis Strait, Hudson Bay, James Bay, Belcher Islands, Melville Peninsula, Banks Island, Prince Patrick Island, Ellesmere Island, Devon Island, Axel Heiberg Island, Queen Elizabeth Island, Canadian Shield, Rocky Mountains, Appalachian Mountains, Andes Cordillera, Sierra Nevada, Cascade Range, Coast Ranges, Alaska Range, Brooks Range, Mackenzie River, Yukon River, Colorado River, Mississippi River, Missouri River, Rio Grande, Amazon River, Orinoco River, Niger River, Congo River, Zambezi River, Danube River, Rhine River, Seine River, Thames River, Volga River, Don River, Obi River, Irtysh River, Yenisei River, Lena River, Yangtze River, Huang He, Yellow River, Pearl River, Brahmaputra River, Indus River, Ganges River, Tigri, this River Euphrates, River Nile, River Salween, River Irrawaddy, River Mekong, River Murray, Darling Basin, Columbia, River Snake, River Fraser, River Mackenzie, Delta Mackenzie Valley, Mackenzie Lowlands, Yukon Kuskokwim, Delta Yukon Flats, Lower Mainland Vancouver Island, Haida Guayquin, Charlotte Sound, Juan de Fuca, Strait Puget Sound, San Francisco Bay, Sacramento, San Joaquin River, Delta, San Pablo, Bay Suisun Bay, Carquines, Strait Golden Gate, Bridge, Oakland Bay, Bridge, Richmond, San Rafael, Bridge, Benicia Martinez Bridge, Antioch Bridge, Contra Costa County, Marin County, Sonoma County, Mendocino County, Lake County, Napa County, Solano County, Yolo County, Sacramento County, Placer County, El Dorado County, Amador County, Calaveras County, Stanislaus County, Merced County, Mariposa County, Mono County, Inyo County, Tulare County, Kings County, Fresno County, Madera County, Tuolumne County, Alpine County, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, Orange County, Los Angeles County, Ventura County, Santa Barbara County, San Luis Obispo County, Monterey A County, San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, Alameda County, Contra Costa County, San Francisco County. As I listened to the young woman recount her story, I struggled to piece together its coherence. Certain sections were chaotic, others excessively detailed. She alternately hesitated, lied outright, expressed pride, and showed signs of distress. My task demanded clarity, so rather than sharing dinner with my spouse, I sat in the interrogation room nursing poor quality, instant coffee. Every effort to redirect or expedite her narrative fell flat. She spoke relentlessly regardless of my interventions. Gradually, she revealed how her late grandmother had been stored neatly within a freezer, comparing it humorously to a makeshift coffin. Exhaustedly observing her, I recognized this would stretch into lengthy hours, sacrificing both sustenance and slumber. Over time, however, she disclosed that Vichya initially displayed anxiety, but adapted surprisingly well. They draped a cloth over the freezer, added a decorative plant, and pretended everything functioned normally. For nearly 3 months, they split earnings unevenly. Vichya squandered his rapidly, provoking mild resentment from Julia. Despite personal misgivings, she abstained from pressuring him, considering any inheritance rightly hers alone. Simultaneously, she carefully conserved her portion, fantasizing about future vacations. During a short-lived escape, catastrophe struck when electrical faults destroyed their makeshift mausoleum, triggering rapid decomposition. Panicking amid overwhelming stench, they swiftly disposed of the remains in remote woodland. Returning home, drained physically and emotionally, they endured sleepless nights fearing exposure by vigilant locals. Shortly thereafter, Vichya descended into profound psychological turmoil, gripped by irrational fears and hallucinations. Julia described accompanying him one evening, standing wordlessly beside him, scanning empty space. Without warning, he suddenly exclaimed excitement, pointing wildly at an ambiguous figure, declaring absolute certainty it embodied their departed ancestor. Skepticism ruled her reactions, attributing his visions to heavy alcohol consumption. Nonetheless, she admitted experiencing profound trepidation during these episodes. Eventually seeking refuge in city life, they established themselves elsewhere. Here, however, hostilities intensified. Vichya spiraled downward, frequently intoxicated, and certain malevolent entities pursued them ceaselessly. Slowly, their tenuous semblance of normalcy dissolved completely, replaced by perpetual terror, pervasive smells, and enduring psychological trauma. Even confined within my professional environment, faint traces of putrid scent permeated the air, unsettling everyone present. This extended ordeal concluded with the girl expressing weariness, anger, and bitter regret. By then, parallels to renowned works like Crime and Punishment became evident, confusing reality with fantasy, reason with madness. Our dwelling became infested with swarming flies, producing an oppressive ambience suggestive of decay. Crowds buzzed tirelessly, penetrating eyes and mouths alike. Adhesive strips offered negligible relief. Despondent, Vichya acquired chemical repellent. After widespread dispersion, we evacuated temporarily. Hours later, corpses blanketed floors momentarily. Relief proved ephemeral. Fresh clouds swiftly converged despite window seals. Eviction threatened inevitably unless effective solutions manifested. Grudgingly embracing hazardous substances, preference shifted towards toxic fumes over persistent stench. While occupied, a particularly large specimen alighted upon my desk. Reacting instinctively, I terminated its existence summarily. Watching intently, Julia perceived symbolic meaning embedded within trivial acts. Coincidentally, illumination flickered irregularly, solidifying her conviction regarding divine orchestration. Personally, scientific rationale dictated mundane explanations, malfunctioning bulbs represented plausible causality. However, she steadfastly maintained synchronized lighting patterns endorsed authenticity. Internally wrestling skepticism versus credulity, cognitive strain intensified markedly. Unexpectedly, domestic tranquility degenerated precipitously. Insomnia plagued successive nights, every noise magnified disproportionately. Footsteps creaked deafeningly, imagined presence tainted serenity. Restless, I arose surreptitiously, navigating unfamiliar terrain. Entering kitchens, sensory overload incapacitated functionality. Towering imposingly, grandmother materialized, unexpectedly, grotesque visage streaming decomposition. Uttering guttural screams, I sprinted back toward sanctuary. Hyperventilating heavily, I collapsed beside Vichya, stirring him involuntarily. Baffled, he questioned repetitively. Speech evaded articulation. Frenetic gestures substituted verbal communication. Directing focus toward culinary epicenters, yielded identical outcomes. Vacancy reinforced plausibility. Time progressed cyclically. Rituals proliferated sporadically. Ceremonial flame bathed chambers, augmenting illusionary safety nets. Tranquility restored partially. Gradual regression resumed inevitably. Intermittent disturbances punctuated intervals arbitrarily. Slumber terminated abruptly. Noxious vapors assailed nasal passages. Startled awake, physiological responses elevated dramatically. Orientation proved laborious. Hesitantly venturing forthward exposed horrors beyond comprehension. Stationed prominently, grandmother radiated malignancy, rotten essence suffocating lungs. Primal instinct catalyzed flight reflexes. Vichya similarly awakened belatedly. Chasing specters fruitlessly, apprehension metastasized incrementally. Vindication eluded systematically. Reason abdicated dominion entirely. Episodes repeated iteratively. Neurosis compounded chronologically. Ultimately, abrupt cessation coincided tragically. Officially, documented autopsies corroborated theoretical hypotheses. Observed wounds exhibited anomalous attributes, indicative of otherworldly influence. Chronological records corroborated allegations. Timelines converged synchronistically. Physicality surrendered supremacy. Spiritual dimensions eclipsed empirical foundations. Closure sought provisionally. Awaiting definitive resolutions, investigations recommenced proactively. Prospective sites warranted thorough scrutiny. Eventual discoveries mandated ceremonial consecration. Fourth iteration potentially achieving catharsis. Comprehensively,